Okay, so something really weird is happening online. The most advanced AIs on the planet, the ones that are becoming the new search engines, well, they're trusting what some anonymous person says on a forum way more than they trust your official company website. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly why this is happening, and what it means for how we find pretty much anything from now on.
Right, let's just dive straight into the big question. This is the one that I think should be keeping every business owner up at night. You spend all this time and money on a polished, perfect website, but the AI, the new gatekeeper of information, is learning from a messy, chaotic, completely user-run forum instead. It feels backwards, right? But believe me, there's a very clear logic to it.
And this number is everything. Almost 40% of the sources that an AI will cite in its answer come directly from Reddit. Just let that sink in for a second. Not major news outlets, not university studies, not corporate blogs, but Reddit. This isn't just some little trend. It's a fundamental shift in where online authority comes from.
So yeah, this whole thing forces us to basically throw out the old rulebook for getting found online. For what? A decade? 2 decades. The game was search engine optimization, SEO. It was all about keywords and backlinks. But now that AI is the new front door to the internet, that whole playbook is starting to look like a history book. There's a new game now, with new rules.
This slide really breaks down that massive change. We're moving away from a world obsessed with keywords and into a world that runs on conversations. The goal isn't to be the #1 link that someone might click on. The goal is to be the trusted answer that an AI recommends. So the metric we care about isn't traffic anymore, it's what you could call recommendation share. In other words, how often does the AI think you're the right answer?
So, if conversations are the new currency, where do AIs go to learn how real people actually talk? Well, this gets us right to the heart of it. Why on earth have platforms like Reddit become the default training ground for these giant, powerful AI models? And here's the simple truth. It all comes down to this one thing. To sound human, to get nuance, to figure out sarcasm, to answer questions the way a genuinely helpful person would, an AI needs to learn from us. It needs to see our debates, our dumb arguments, our incredibly niche hobbies, and how we actually solve problems for each other. Your perfectly curated corporate website, it just doesn't have that messy human data.
And hey, don't just take it from me. This is a direct quote from Google, talking about their own deal with Reddit. They don't just see a forum. They see this giant, living library of human experience. It's the perfect raw ingredient to teach a machine how to think and talk more like us. And that authenticity, it has a very, very real price tag. Google is paying Reddit $60 million a year. Let me say that again, $60 million every single year. This isn't just them buying some data. It's a massive bet that shows just how vital these real human conversations are to the entire future of artificial intelligence.
And the data? Well, the data tells the whole story. Look at this chart. Reddit isn't just one of the sources for AI, it is the #1 source. It's crushing even Wikipedia, which has been the king of online info for forever. So when you ask an AI a question, there's a really, really good chance the answer it gives you started its life as a simple conversation on a Reddit thread.
Okay, so this brings us to what is probably the most critical takeaway for anyone out there running a business or building a brand. Right now, whether you like it or not, these AI models are forming an opinion about you. And that opinion is being built piece by piece from thousands of conversations happening online.
What this means is that doing nothing is no longer an option. If people aren't talking about your brand, the AI basically thinks you don't exist. You're invisible. If they're talking but it's negative, well, the AI learns to tell other people to stay away. It's only through positive, helpful discussions that the AI learns you're a good solution to a problem. The conversation is happening, and being silent is a huge risk.
You know what? I genuinely want you to try this. Just pause this explainer for a minute, open up an AI like ChatGPT or Gemini, and ask it these questions about your own brand. The answers might actually shock you, but it'll give you a totally raw, unfiltered look at what your brand's AI reputation is today. It's the new way of checking your online pulse.
Okay, so you get it. You see why this matters. Now for the practical part, how do you actually get involved? Reddit is famously allergic to marketers. If you just show up and start dropping links to your product, you'll get banned so fast your head will spin. So let's walk through the playbook for doing this the right way. This right here is the golden rule.
If you forget everything else, remember this. You have to be a community member first and a brand second. That means for every one time you even think about mentioning your product, you should have 9 other comments or posts where you're just adding value and being helpful. It's all about earning the right to speak.
And this quote from a Redditor just says it all. This was a reply to some founder who was asking for marketing logistics. And you see the response. If you're trying to find a strategy to look genuine, you've already lost. The only people who win on Reddit are the ones who are genuine.
This timeline is so important because it sets the right expectations. This is not a quick hack. It is a long-term investment in building real trust. You start by just shutting up and listening. Learn the inside jokes. Learn the rules. Then you start helping people. And only after months of that can you even think about sharing what you're working on.
Now here is a fantastic, super efficient tactic. You don't always have to create a new post. Instead, go find Reddit threads that are already ranking on page 1 of Google for your topic. Then, just add a super helpful, detailed, valuable comment to that existing conversation. Your insight gets to piggyback on content that's already winning, and it gets fed directly to the AI from a source it already trusts.
So really, it all comes down to this one choice. You can have the short-term mindset, spam links, and get banned in 2 months. Or you can have the long-term mindset, build a real reputation, and create a presence that influences AI for years to come. One path ends with a burned bridge. The other gives you a powerful asset that just keeps growing.
So we'll just end on this question. Right now, as you're watching this, in thousands of threads all over the internet, the story of your brand is being written. And that story is the data that's training the next version of Google. The conversation is already happening. The only question is, are you going to be a part of it?